Hello everybody. My name is Joshua Fagunwa, and I'm here today to address an issue that's been going on for quite some time now, and it's about what Pastor Chris Oyakhilome said about masturbation. In one of his numerous programs on TV, Pastor Chris said that masturbation is a sin against yourself and not a sin against God, and that has caused a lot of controversies and debates and even contestations. But I don't think that should be the case because really and truly, Pastor Chris wasn't wrong to say that. The reason is because when a man commits an offense, commits a sin, sexual sin or masturbates, that individual is now sinning against God. That individual is only sinning against himself. I know a lot of people watching me right now will be saying, What's he talking about? How can you sin against yourself?" Well, I'm going to read something to you right now in the Bible. In the book of First Corinthians, chapter 6, verse 18, the Bible says, "Flee from sexual immorality," and masturbation is a sexual immorality. "All other sins a man commits are outside his body, but he who sins sexually sins against his body." I'll read again. "Flee from sexual immorality. All other sins a man commits are outside his body, but he who sins sexually sins against his own body." The Bible never says that he who sins sexually sins against God. What the Bible says is he who sins sexually sins against his own body. In other words, when a man masturbates or commits other sexual what's it called now or commits other sexual sins, such sins is not a sin. That sin is not a sin against God, but it sins against yourself. And Pastor Chris never said that masturbation was a good thing. He never said that because I was watching a video on YouTube um a few minutes ago, and a guy was saying that Pastor Chris led a lot of people astray by saying that masturbation is not a sin against God. He never did because he never said masturbation is a good thing. All he said was masturbation wasn't a sin. And the guy who asked the his name is Quaker from Ghana. He never asked if masturbation was a sin. What he asked was, "How can I overcome masturbation?" And Pastor Chris said, "Masturbation is an habit, and all you do is just have to stop it." You understand? Pastor Chris only brought in the issue of sin because many Christians tend to be sin conscious, and what sin consciousness does to a Christian is that it prevents a Christian from being an effective witness for Jesus Christ. Because when you're sin conscious, you can't really preach, you can't really share the gospel to an unbeliever. Because when you try to, the devil try to play with your mind. The devil try to stop you and tell you, "Oh, you're a sinner. You can do that," and that tends to render you ineffective as a Christian. That's why Pastor Chris brought in the issue of sin. So I want to use this medium to tell everyone today that masturbation, according to the Bible, is not a sin against God, but a sin against your own body as an individual. And I think it's high time we buried this issue. Thank you so much.